Good afternoon YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Sifi. I'm a nutritional coach and personal trainer, and I work online and in person with my clients who are typically women working on fat loss goals. I am quite new to YouTube and I'm loving it, and I was watching one of my favourite channels the other day, which was Emily Norris. I'll put a link in the description box below if you want to check out her channel. She has started off a mum tag for 2019, which is a series of questions all about motherhood. It's the month of Mother's Day, and so I thought for something a bit different I'd have a go. I live with my husband Remo, my father who's got dementia, and also my son Rocco, who is going to be 3 in June. He's 2.5. With that being said, let's get into the questions. Question number 1, favourite mum hack. Mine was actually exactly the same as Emily Norris's, so I'm sorry Emily, I'm not pinching it, it's just one that I've always done, and that is I get absolutely everything ready the night before. Whatever our plans are for the next day, I make sure that I'm prepared for it. I will have our clothes laid out, his bag will be packed, mine will be packed, snacks and lunches will be ready for the next day, and sometimes I even put it in the car the night before. Now if you live in a busy city where it's not safe, obviously don't do that. I live right out in the back of beyond in the country, so I feel quite safe doing that. Because that was kind of a shared hack, and hopefully you will go over and see her video, I'm going to give you another one. Because this is a health and fitness channel, and I do think that I need to make it a little bit health and fitness orientated if I can in the questions. Whilst Rocco is eating, I'm food prepping. So my family setup doesn't allow for us to eat as a family together. When he's eating, that's when I do all my food prep, and that's when I'm on Instagram stories and sharing recipes and giving like tips and hopefully teaching people a few skills to food prep for themselves. We always make sure that we do go out once a week together to eat as a family and have a proper sit down meal then. Question number 2, your most embarrassing mum moment. I've got so many. I went to go and visit a client of mine who moved from Windsor to Cornwall, and she's actually one of my very favourite people. So, hi Sophie if you're watching this. She took us off on a hike through all the beaches and up over the cliffs. I had Rocco on my back, and I was actually trying to attempt at vlogging our first Cornwall holiday, and we would all the hard bits I managed to do, like all climbing up the rocks and the steep steps, that was fine. But we got to this point in the walk where the whole cliff opened up, and suddenly I was just struck by this, I don't know, agoraphobic vertigo moment. I can't explain it, but I literally like sort of dropped to the floor with Rocco on my back. My legs failed me, my nerve failed me. It was so incredibly embarrassing. Sophie and Rem were trying to convince me to finish the walk because we had so nearly done it, but I just had this mental block. I was like, I'm going to be swept off that cliff. It was just too much space. So I completely froze, and I had Rocco on my back, and I'm like kind of glued grass verge at the side. Rem is taking lots of video footage because I like to vlog. Yeah, it turns out that the leggings that I was wearing are incredibly see-through, and I'm wearing a thong, and all you can see is my iridescent white butt cheeks through my black leggings, and nobody told me.
I feel awful!
How are you feeling right now?
I'm really enjoying my holiday. Oh dear!
That was really embarrassing. Question number 3, what part of the day do you love the best? Any day where I go get to Rocco at 7 o'clock in the morning after I've had my cup of coffee and done whatever I do for the morning, whether it be doing a little bit of research, doing some videos, whether it be reading, have my cup of coffee, and then I go get my son and I pull him into bed with me, and we watch things like Blippi. I'm not sure if you know Blippi, but Blippi is a fantastic YouTube channel for children, and my son absolutely loves it, so I'll put that in the description box below. We just snuggle up, and he's all tiny chubby cheeks and little fingers and little toes, and I just worship that time. So question number 4, what part of the day do you like the least? The window of time between 6:30 and 7 o'clock. That is a time of day where I'm just starting to do the evening bed routine with Rocco. Luckily at the moment, Rem is around to help me out with evening times because he's working quite locally. He actually works for the film industry, so sometimes is travelling away with productions. That's the time of day where Rocco is really, really shattered, and my dad is coming in from visiting the local pub and he's hungry, and my dad is forgetful, so he's constantly asking me questions and constantly giving me me little jobs to do, asking when he can have food. That half an hour, I feel really pressured, where I'm trying to get my son sorted out, I'm trying to get my dad sorted out, make sure that he's eating, make sure he's settled and his television is sorted and everything's ready. That's a really stressful time in my day. You know, it's just one of those things. We've all got things in our life that we don't enjoy. That is my least favourite time of day. Question number 5. What's the worst thing somebody said to you when you were pregnant? Oh my God, so many. People are awful when you're pregnant, and the thing is, they don't even mean to be awful. They're trying to be nice and supportive, and they're really excited because, you know, there's a baby and you're a woman with child. Everyone just says the wrong things all the time. Oh, you look big, you must be ready to drop, you're too small, you're too big. So anything where my general appearance was being commented upon, that was just generally something I didn't like. It's actually something I don't like now. Some people pull me aside because I'm a personal trainer, I work in the gym, and people do often comment on my body. I know it's all meant really nicely, but it's just something that I really don't like. I'm very uncomfortable having my physical appearance pulled apart. Number 6, what's the baby name you didn't agree on? Okay. There was quite a few. I actually liked most of the names that Rem had, but Rem didn't like an awful lot of the names that I liked. I liked the name Gilbert for a boy. I think Gil, or Gilbert, is just the most lovely name, and also it's one of my favourite characters from my favourite storybook growing up, Anne of Green Gables. One of the lead characters in it was Gilbert, and I really liked that name. But Rem thought it was rubbish, so we didn't have that one. I also really like the name Fiammetta for a girl, or Etta, but my married last name is Fishenden, so of course, you know, Etta Fish, Fishenden, Etta Fish, yeah, ruined. Where am I? Question number 7, do you co-sleep? No. When Rocco was really little, I did used to bring him into bed with me in the morning. It was one of the most joyful times of my life. He would sleep till about 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I would bring him in with me, and then we would just hang out in bed together until like 10 in the morning, and it was wonderful. Question number 8. Something you bought but never used. My original baby monitor. It's one that you just listen to and it's got no video. And I was like, what person needs to watch their child sleep? It's ridiculous. I didn't realise at the time that watching your child sleep is the biggest delight you'll ever get, because they're calm and quiet and leaving you alone and looking like little angel cherubs. And also, nobody told me how frightened I would be all the time once I became a mum. I soon got rid of that baby monitor and got myself an all singing, all dancing, like angel care one, where I can see things, I can see his breathing and everything, yeah. Question number 9. 3 hospital bag must-haves. I didn't pack a hospital bag because I strive to have a home birth, so I'm going to share with you things that were my going into labour must-haves. My doula. If you don't know, a doula is a supportive birthing partner. So if you don't have a mum, let's say, and you want somebody, you know, to be there to be your advocate and your support, and also to help support your husband, a doula was a wonderful addition to my birthing experience. I swear to God, that woman massaged my feet for 30 hours straight. I had a hypnobirthing recording made for me by a lady called Claire Cogan, who is in Marlow. She worked at a hypnobirther, and I did her course privately. So she actually did a recording of my perfect birth, the birth that I absolutely wanted to have and strived to have, and it brought me such comfort, and I just listened to it repetitively on the lead up to labour and during my labour as well. The 3rd hospital bag must have is bring really big sanitary pads. You do not want to get those little thin ones. You don't need that. You need the biggest super incontinence ones you can possibly find, because nobody will tell you how much liquid will come out of you after birth. You're not going to be helping out the global warming situation after birth, because you will go through so many. In fact, however many you think you need, pack 5 more bags. There's a lot of questions. I forgot how many there were. I hope I'm not boring anybody. Sorry if I am. Okay. Are you a routine mum or a go with the flow mum? And what does bedtime look like? I do not go with the flow. In fact, I like to shove the flow in an opposite direction in a way it doesn't want to go, because I'm an absolute control freak. I'm a life micromanager, and I do constantly strive on going with the flow. Bedtime is militant. Dinner at 5:45, bath by 6:20, pyjamas on, yeah, story time, and in bed at bang on 7 o'clock. And even if we've got friends around, we literally will not break our routine. This is my favourite question. 11. What kind of labour did you have and what pain relief did you choose? Right, so I was actually interviewed by a wonderful podcast and a wonderful lady called Alexa Leachman. I shall leave that link in the description box below if you would like to listen to that podcast where I was interviewed about my birthing experience. I wanted to have a midwife and doula-led home birth. I laboured at home for about 13 hours, and I would say 3 of which at that point had been pushing. I just could not get Rocco out. I chose to then move to a hospital. He didn't get stuck, but he got himself into a slightly awkward position. Hasten to add that he was 9.5 pounds. Did end up having a labour ward birth. In the end, I did have to have a epidural, mostly because I swore blind that I was going to kill anybody who didn't give me one at that point. Not because I was in pain. I refused to tell anyone that I was in pain. It was just very intense and very long, and I was shattered by the time I went to hospital. In the ambulance ride over, I had gas and air, which I thought I would hate, but it was amazing. I loved it. It makes you all sound like I had to have like a full-on episiotomy to get that sucker out there because I was also pushing for another 3 hours there. Question 12. Have you ever been mum shamed? Yes, ma'am, I have been mum shamed. It shouldn't have taken me by surprise because the person who actually did the mum shaming is notorious for being an absolute deeply troubled individual. He was somebody who went to the same gym as me when I was powerlifting. After birth, I was sharing some troubles that I was going through on Instagram, and this chap had actually been blocked so many times from all my social media because I always found him to be a bit of a nuisance, and a lot of people had blocked him, but he seemed to always pop up via another account or somebody else's account, so it was a little bit weird actually. If you know me, I'm very transparent. I will share my troubles. I do like to reach out and let people know if I'm going through a troubling experience and how I'm working through it because I like to help people, I like to serve. I can't remember what it was about, but I think it might have been a little bit about like postnatal depression. And this chap said, you should have really considered getting your sorted before deciding to become a mother. My old coach also saw it and I think pulled him aside and gave him a stern talking to. But other than that, no, I don't feel that I've really had any particular mum shame from other mothers. It's not my experience. My experience is that other mamas out there are actually all just trying to find their feet, their tribe. If ever they say something that sounds like it's coming from mum shame, it's usually coming from something that they're struggling with and are often just seeking out advice or to know what you're doing. In my experience, other mothers don't really tend to mum shame, and if they do, they're just a really nasty person that you don't need in your life because there's no place for mum shaming, especially among mothers. Okay, we are nearly there, guys. I'm really sorry. This is going to be such a long video. I didn't want it to be long when it wasn't actually anything particularly informative for everybody. Okay, the biggest challenges you have faced since becoming a mum. It was merging my family life with a 6-month-old with my father because he wasn't diagnosed with having dementia then, but my husband and I really noticed that he wasn't doing so well and that he was getting quite forgetful and his house was being really quite neglected, and so we just really ascertained that he wasn't looking after himself very well. And we merged all together. And I didn't realise at the time how challenging it was going to be to have under the same roof an 80-year-old man with dementia and a small child, because both are not notorious for being deeply empathetic and sympathetic to anything else other than their own demands, and often I can feel quite stuck between a rock and a hard place. But as I said, I feel like I'm doing the right thing by doing the best I can by my dad. I don't think I'm excellent at it, but you know, at least I'm doing it. So I do find that is probably my biggest struggle since becoming a mum. Okay, 14. The best bit of advice you've ever been given as a mum, the biggest bit of advice you would give to a new mum. Mum's instinct knows best. There is nobody who knows your baby more than you do, and if your gut is telling you that something is not right, then that is good enough. We're at the end with question 15. It says, who's your mum's crush and who will you tag in this video? I think I'm just going to stick with people people from the internet, because these are people that I don't know, I would be really, really upset to like not name some of my friends who I think are fantastic mums. In fact, I don't know a bad mum at all. As for people on YouTube, I've got so many crushes. So first and foremost, I would say Emily Norris. She is my absolute number one favourite YouTube mummy vlogger. She's got 3 boys, Fraser, Caleb and Jackson. You can go to her YouTube for tips on speed cleaning, organisation, beauty, lifestyle, parenting, lots of product placement stuff. You kind of want some inspiration and ideas for stuff for your child. I really like her YouTube channel. Ashley Horner, she's amazing. I think she's got 3 boys, pardon me, I don't know her boys' names. She is a bodybuilder. She runs across Haiti raising funds for orphanages. She's got the best body in the world, the best mindset in the world. She's absolutely stunning and I love her. I also really like a lady called Micah Stoffer. I think she's got 5 children altogether. She's just adopted her son Huxley, who's autistic, and she's also pregnant with another one. I really like her channel. She's all into Marie Kondoing your life, like getting your life completely sorted and tidy within the home. She gives lots of inspiration for like children's education. She homeschools her children, and I just find her approach to life, especially online, especially with that of her husband, is so gentle and so sweet and so nurturing and so caring, and I really, really appreciate that. I just feel good when I watch her videos. The other person I like is Vasa Beauty. She is a mummy to a little boy called Carter, who's about 2.5, and I go to her for everything about home decor, speed cleaning, organising your home, beauty, lifestyle hacks, and kind of a bit of toddler inspiration. I can't pronounce her name, she's so funny. Christina Kuzmit. She is, I'm sorry I pronounced her name all wrong, but she does really short, sharp, snappy YouTube videos all about parenting. She's a comedian, she's so funny, Oprah loves her, and she just really makes things very real. I really like Rachel Hollis. She is a woman who has 4 children. She's just adopted a baby Noah. She's got 3 boys as well. She runs massive businesses. She makes fortunes. She's a motivational speaker. She's written a fantastic book called Girl Wash Your Face. If you have not read this book, you must, especially if you are an insecure entrepreneur like myself. Thank you so much if you made it to the end. Let's do hashtag Mother's Day. If you made it to the end, do shoot me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this type of video. If you like getting to know me a little bit more, please leave me any comments or suggestions for video ideas. I've got a couple of ideas for doing a nutritional label series. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you subscribe. Please do just click that little red subscribe button down below, and I will see you all next week. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry it was so long again. I just can't shut up. Ah.